Hey there, YouTube land, and tonight I'm not drinking tea, actually. I'm having a Tim Hortons coffee. Since it's later than that, I decided to go for decaf, which I don't normally do. The gods of caffeine are going to be very angry with me tonight, but I wanted to do something kind of different. So it's a Criterion coffee chat. Basically, every time around this time of year, you usually see me do a lot of Criterion videos. Basically excited about the upcoming sale. Even when I'm not getting them myself, I like to put it out there for people that are getting a lot of stuff. This time around, this week, I actually picked up one Criterion. I don't have it yet. Of course, we don't have the Barnes & Noble near us in Canada, so we have to order away. So I looked through a lot of stuff and to see what exactly I wanted to get for my first purchase for the sale, and I didn't have a. Well, I had the old version, but which I gave to my daughter. It was Picnic at Hanging Rock, and I wanted the movie with the book, and I wanted to see the Homeland, something like that, the short film that he did there as well. So I'm getting a Peter Weir's Picnic at Hanging Rock. I just wish they'd do the other one that he did that I've got in my collection. I think it's The Last Wave on Blu-ray as well. So that being said, let's dive into my Criterion collection, both DVD and Blu-rays. I'm going to start with the Blu-rays. I'm going to try to do them in chronological order, but I may skip it here and there, but this is what I got. And hopefully, if there's something here that you're thinking about getting, this can give you an idea of if it's worth picking up. First up is The Lady Vanishes. I had a lot of fun with this one. My favorite part of this was, God, what's their name? The two guys, actually. There's two guys in this one here, they're like really big cricket fans. And actually, they have their own film that's on this one here. I have not watched their own film, but I did like them in the movie. I thought this overall was a really fun movie. It went pretty fast. One thing I got to say about Hitchcock's early work as compared to his later stuff is I feel that I'm not sure if there wasn't as much money put into it or there just wasn't as much time, but I do find at times Hitchcock's editing is actually maybe even just a mite better than his later stuff, because we're getting a lot of really solid, quickly done stuff. It's concise, it's to the point, and it's just some really good story. This one's kind of has a very humorous aspect to it. It plays it very well. I like this one a lot. Next up is a classic Fellini film, and I think it's maybe the only Fellini film so far in my collection. I almost bought 8.5 today when I was going through there, because that has not only is 8.5 a fantastic film, but it has it's one of the most loaded featured-wise Blu-rays you're going to see from Criterion. But my favorite Fellini film right here is Emicord, and it's not just because of the big-breasted woman or any of that stuff, but it's actually a really good film. It's a personal film by Fellini. It's got some great features on here. It talks about Fellini's homecoming. Basically, it's a 45-minute documentary about him, his relationship to his hometown, and I know what that's like. I mean, we do have complicated relationships to the place we grew up in. Mine is very, actually. And who knows, maybe I'll talk about it sometime on here. But Emicord, it's a fantastic one. It is such a gorgeous set. I'll just open this up a little bit so you can actually see just how beautiful this thing is. I think it's one of the most beautiful sets that Criterion put out. Next up is classic, and I like the horror, the noir type stuff. Mr. M. Fritz Lang is definitely in the horror category. It's a silent film. Stars, oh my God, Pierre Lorre. Spacing. Just a great little film. There's a lot of features on here. A conversation with Fritz Lang, with William Friedkin. I really enjoyed that. Again, another fantastic one. This one was gifted to me by my good friend Sammy. And this is probably one of the top Criterions in my whole collection. I've watched this one a few times. And so if you haven't seen Failure 5 on this channel, definitely check them out. This is a Powell and Pressburger movie, and it's my favorite Powell and Pressburger movie, and that's actually by Black Narcissus. This is amazing, such an amazing film. I love the cover of this, and had a complete crush on the bad girl, crazy girl in the movie. She was so gorgeous and insane, and I think Ken liked her too. I'm not sure in the crush way, but she liked her. This is one great edition. But there is a better edition coming out, so I will be getting rid of this edition down the road, so I can get the Arrow version of it, and that is Videodrome. Again, it's very cool. It's nicely done. It's done like a Betamax tape there, so I do like that part of it. And And it's got some decent features on it. I just want the Arrow one. It has a few more features. I'm a big Cronenberg fan, so I want as much as I can Cronenberg-wise. The Fear on Film thing is my favorite feature on this one. Basically, it's a roundtable discussion on on horror with Cronenberg, John Carpenter, John Landis, and Mick Garris. Really interesting. Next up is just a fun film. It's Dazed and Confused, and it's one of those Linklater films that actually hit mainstream and did fairly well. I love this film. The characters are really good in it. It's really funny. Of course, the soundtrack is amazing. You know, set back in the 70s, and just incredible stuff. This is really one worth checking out. It's got a lot of great stuff in there. I think some maps in it as well. Ace in the Hole. Speaking of having neat things, this one has stars Kirk Douglas. Great film, suspenseful. It's Billy Wilder. Billy Wilder is a great director, and I thought it was a fantastic movie. The actual, instead of having a regular booklet in here, it's actually done like a newspaper, which is actually really cool. This is one that I actually bought this one originally as as something for a contest video that I was doing, and I liked it so much that after I gave away the one for the contest, I went out and I bought myself one, and that is Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless. It is incredible. I mean, there's like some amazing stuff. There's an 80-minute French documentary on here. There's a short film by Godard featuring Jean-Pierre Belmondo. Jean-Pierre Belmondo was one of those French actors that just he just had that it factor, and he was just amazing in everything that he did. Introduced to him by my better half, who grew up watching a lot of this stuff, since French is closer to her native language than English is. She had to learn English when she was in college. This tea's good. Coffee's good. Oh man, that's really good. Night the Hunter, hands down one of the favorite ones I got in my collection. Great feature on this with Charles Laughton directs the Night the Hunter. It's a 2.5-hour documentary, basically, and it's a fantastic little film. Night the Hunter is just a great movie. Speaking of great movies, ones that have like crisp, cool dialogue, some fantastic actors, and just it's wonderful the way it's done. That's Burt Lancaster and Tony Curtis in Sweet Smell of Success. Another film that just love it. And I just love it for the dialogue and the interplay between the characters. I love older films that have like this rapid fire, this really kind of clear, crisp dialogue. As a writer, I really appreciate it when I feel something that doesn't seem forced. It seems real. It seems just like natural and good. A lot of the screwball comedies in the day did a lot of that stuff, and they did it really well. It's a lost art. It really is. Blowout again I love this movie. Well, you guys know I love De Palma, and this is a fantastic De Palma film. Nancy Allen's in this one. John Travolta. This, of course, is a very thinly veiled version of what happened with the Kennedys. Well, with a certain Kennedy in particular that took a ride, and a certain girl, so a prostitute, didn't make it. So it's a fantastic little film. It's got an extra movie on there, by the way, Murder All Mad. And one of the most interesting things for me was this hour-long interview with Brian De Palma. And it was really interesting to have Brian De Palma just sit down and talk about all the stuff that he was really interested, talk about these films, talk about like things that it was fantastic. And Noah Baumbach did the interview, and I love Noah Baumbach. Kiss Me Deadly. Everybody knows how much I love Kiss Me Deadly. I've had so many people buy Kiss Me Deadly from watching my views on Kiss Me Deadly, and I'm so proud of that because this is a really great film. I love these style films. I love film noirs. Ralph Meeker does a great job in this. Mickey Spillane. Just incredible stuff. There are great features on here. There's a feature on Mike Hammer on here. There's a feature on Mickey Spillane. It's just really good. Just check it out. Man Who Knew Too Much. And I stand by the fact that this is the definitive best version of The Man Who Knew Too Much. I may love Doris Day a lot. I think James Stewart's a fantastic actor and did a great job with Alfred Hitchcock, but you cannot beat this version of The Man Who Knew Too Much. Again, editing, directing is just a little bit more clear, it's more precise. It gets to the point. There's no fat on this film. It's just well done. This is one that I haven't watched yet, and I really got to because I was so intrigued with this film when I picked it up. I wanted to get it so bad, and it's one of those kind of thrillers that they do. What do they call these things? I can't remember how they do this, call this now, but it's like kind of a investigation of a citizen above suspicion. It's probably the closest to Giallo that they've ever done on the Criterion label. A lot of cool features on here. I love these here dual format digibooks, and it kills me that people complained enough that Criterion actually stopped doing it. It really does. I mean, it pisses me off to no end. Yeah, there were people out there that thought, I think the extra $2 or $4 that you paid to get a Blu-ray and a DVD was too expensive for them to actually go. I'm sorry, what are you buying Criterion for in the first place? Criterion is a marquee label, and they are more expensive, and that's why the Barnes & Noble sale is so amazing. So get Criterions for like a decent price, and the price hasn't gone down that much for us to say, oh well, thank God they changed it from dual format. Dual format was really, really good. You have the Blu-ray, you can use it at home. You can take a DVD with you actually, because Criterion. Because I'm just pissed about that. Rage Time. Another fantastic one. Alfred Hitchcock's Foreign Correspondent. Great film, great cover, some great features on this. I watched Hollywood Propaganda of the World in World War II. That was really good, actually. There's another thing. I think it's episode of Dick Cavett interview on here. A lot of great stuff. Captain Rant just totally lost my mojo for a second. Fantastic Mr. Fox was the first Wes Anderson movie I got, and I didn't get it because it was Wes Anderson. I actually got it because I just liked the style of filmmaking. And then in later words, I kind of got into Wes Anderson. I really wasn't one of those early guys getting into Wes Anderson, and I didn't get into it because of Criterion. I just found certain movies I liked. I think when I watched the Darjeeling Limited, that's when I started to go back and rewatch some of his films again and really get into them. I'd seen a few of them, but I didn't really put it together. It's like, okay, this guy, this is his vice. Which is odd. I usually do, but I'm going to be honest and say, no, I really didn't. Red River, Howard Hawks, John Wayne. And this one's done very much like the one that I got coming now, Picnic at Hanging Rock. It has the actual book in there, and it's a great feature. I think this has 2 versions of Red River on here as well. Some great interviews. And one thing I really like, and I like this when MGM used to do it as well, they put like these Lux Theater productions on here, because they have some great things. We used to have satellite radio. I miss satellite radio so much. And we would watch these, we'd turn on, and we wouldn't turn on the music a lot, what we would turn on is these like radio drama channels. And we'd listen to the old radio shows. We'd go on like trips and stuff, and be like 6 or 8 hour trips. I would love listening to the old, like the Shadow, and we listen to like there'd be like the science fiction one, like Tales from Beyond type of thing. And there's this really cool one, be like kind of like, it was like a Western one. That was it, remember that? And it was just like, we'd sit down, and sometimes we would go and we would park somewhere, and we'd be in the car, and we'd have all our stuff, and it would be time to get out, but we wouldn't get out because we would sit down, we would listen to the radio in the car, and we'd finish the story because it was so cool. And I still think that's one of the best ways to watch and to enjoy something. I miss that. It's really good. Radio is definitely a lost art form, and if you have a satellite radio, you get the chance, listen, go over to those radio drama channels that are really good. You get a lot of cool stuff. You like Vincent Price, there's a Shadow of Vincent Price on there. It just has such amazing stuff. So, next. Scanners. I think this was the last one I picked up. David Cronenberg, again, I'm a big Cronenberg fan. Some people thought this was kind of slow and kind of stiffly acted. But that's kind of the point of this film. And it is the guy that plays him was more of an artist than an actor. But he does the best job that he can with the film. Is he a great actor, the guy in Scanners? No, but it's just a fun movie. And Michael Ironside is in it. Anything Michael Ironside is in is fun by default. I'm sorry. And they say, oh, by the way, Michael Ironside is a bad guy, and he blows up people's heads with his mind. That should be enough. You should be there at that point. When somebody says, you had me at Michael Ironside, but you kept me with blowing up heads with your mind. That's pretty much the way it works. Box sets. I've only got a couple of Criterion box sets, but this one here is one that I highly, strongly recommend. If you have not yet got the Jacques Demy box set, it's freaking incredible. It's one of the most amazing box sets, very colorful. And why this is done so colorful? Jacques Demy's world, his cinematic world, is extremely colorful, extremely bright, it's vibrant. There are dark undertones to some of his stories that may catch you by surprise sometimes. But he's very much a fan. He was a lover of early cinema. He was a lover of like the old 30s and 40s type of musicals and film noir and stuff like that. And it bleeds into his films. And he's got such a vibrant, colorful world here. Movies like The Young Girls of Rochefort, which is my favorite on this set here. The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Was that spelled? I don't even know if I said that right. Cherbourg? Cherbourg. Cherbourg, right? The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. I can't get it from order. And it's like but it's all musical. And when I say all musical, there's no talking at all. It's all musical. Donkey Skin, Podon. It's actually a very, very, very good movie. Very twisted movie. It's a fairy tale, and it's done the way that it should be. Just so many great films on here. Bay of Angels, Lola, On Chambre en Ville. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the French. One of these days, I just want to take 6 months a year, live in Paris, and just immerse myself into the French culture and the French language, hopefully learn it. Because living with somebody that speaks French, you'd think, she'd teach you something. But nope, not at all. Because that way she can talk about me if she wants to her sister or mom or whatever. And it doesn't matter, because if I learn to speak French, she knows Arabic too, so I'm screwed. And she also knows Moroccan, which is a combination of French and Arabic. Zadichi, very cool set. Samurai stuff, kind of cheesy for Criterion. But I get why he did it. It was like an epic undertaking to get all these films together. It's pretty much the James Bondish type character for them there, and it was just really well done. Now we're gonna get into my DVDs now. I got a lot more DVDs than do Blu-rays because when I started buying Criterion, I wanted to get more. I wanted to get more quantity, and I didn't care if it was Blu-ray or DVD. I'll be honest with you, as much as I love my Blu-ray and stuff like that, there is no difference for me in. I know people will go crazy with this one in buying the Criterion Blu-ray and the Criterion DVD if they both come out at the same time. I don't. I mean, like, my better half, she will always go for the Blu-ray first. I'm like, well, if I can get 2 Criterions for the price and if I get 2 DVDs that are Criterion with movies I like, the features are the same, it's pretty much just going to be the same transfer anyway, I'll go for the DVD. It doesn't matter to me. But, so I have Seven Samurai, Akira Kurosawa, just a fantastic one. Everybody has this one, I think. This is probably the first Criterion I ever bought, A Night to Remember. And I didn't buy it because it was Criterion. I actually wasn't into Criterion at the time. I bought it because I really wanted to see A Night to Remember again. I really like this movie. I think it's Terence Fisher, if I'm not mistaken, that did this one. Or is it Terence Fisher? No, Roy Ward Baker. Another Hammer director. But I really did like this movie, and I wanted to see it. It had like a documentary on the making of it. And then it had a half-hour documentary, or 15-minute documentary, on the iceberg, from the iceberg's point of view, which is really cool, so I had to check that out. Next up is one of my favorites, is Diabolique. And it seems like cut and dry at the end and stuff, but I don't think it is. Watch the ending of this and let me know what you think somewhere along the way of how you think it ended. What do you think happened, really, because we had a big discussion about the ending of Diabolique. Next up, this is a cool one. Actually, I really like this one. It does end very suddenly. I got to say, this is one of the ones that most suddenly. 39 steps. It just almost ends. It's like a lot of the early movies. Then it's just kind of like, oh, it's over. It's probably, although I do love the story, I think Marilyn Carroll and Robert Downey have great chemistry. I do think that it's probably the lesser of all of the Hitchcock ones that are out there. I do think that everybody should own it. Everybody should own all the Hitchcocks that are in Criterion. But this shouldn't be the first one you pick up. Next up is Criterion Collection Edition of Rushmore. I'm a really big fan of this film. I like Bill Murray. Brian Cox is in this film here. Jason Schwartzman. Of course, a very young Jason Schwartzman in this one here as well. And kind of a quirky, fun Wes Anderson film. That I like. Chasing Amy. I was really surprised this is a Criterion. I bought this brand new at a dollar store, actually, for, I think, $2 or $1, something like that. Chasing Amy is one that, for a while, we could find during the dollar stores, like, all the time. And it's the kind of comic booky type booklet to it. I guess it's because it was like co-produced with Alliance Atlantis here, which is a Canadian company. So this was one that was really always very cheap for a while. Next up is one I found at a flea market. I was really glad I did, and it is the Criterion, the Beastie Boys anthology. It's kind of like a video anthology they did. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there. Unfortunately, I was really surprised that Fight Fear at the Party, the classic Beastie Boys video, was not on here. Actually, for me, that's a cool video, and it's like my day and my type. So next up is one that I actually mentioned when I first started doing this video here, and that is The Last Wave, Peter Weir. It's actually a pretty cool movie. It's got Richard Chamberlain. It's very vague in some stuff that it says. There's a lot left open to interpretation, but if you've ever watched Peter Weir's films, you know that he does that a lot. He does leave things open to interpretation to the point that he sometimes infuriates and frustrates some of the viewers, and I kind of dig that. I like that he takes that stance, and just, you know, this is what it is. Get used to it. These are the films I make. And he leaves it open, and I like that he leaves it open. He does the same thing with Picnic and Hanging Rock, but to be fair, the book Picnic and Hanging Rock, if I remember correctly, leaves it just as, if not more vague than the movie does. And it's sometimes cool to let that be left to your imagination, to like for you to be able to figure out what you think it is. Is it mystical? Is it real? What happened? Anyway, I dig that. This one here, Raw Tenenbaums, when I picked up, and I think I picked this one up too at a flea market, to be honest with you. This was the first Criterion that I ever saw. I was in Cornbrook at the time, and I was at the store with my son, and he was like really young. You see my son in videos, but I think he was like, when did this one come out? 2002. So, yeah, he was really young around the time this came out. So this was fairly new, and they just pulled it off. They had like multiple copies, so they just pulled it off the shelf at this video store called Video Gallery in Cornbrook. And I was going to pick it up. I thought it was like really cool, like the way it was done, like the uniqueness of the box, and I saw the features. And I love these big cases. But I went to do it, and they told me at the time I had a late fee. So I was arguing over this late fee, and so they figured out I didn't have a late fee. Well, by the time they did, somebody had come in and bought that movie. Yeah, that happens sometimes. But years later, you find it, and you find it at the right time, the right place. I don't think I would have appreciated it as much back then as I do now. So I'm glad I got it now, and I'm glad I got it where I got it at. Fear and Loathing Las Vegas is a fun film. I love this movie. I found this one, believe it or not, at a charity shop close to where I went to school at the time. I was pretty much came out of school. I had to wait for him there to pick me up because always late. And so I was glad she was, because I used to go in this shop basically, and Value Village was, and basically look at the movies. And every once in a while you find Criterion there, and this is one I found. $1.99. Cheapest Criterion I ever bought. We're out going around. We stopped to go into this, what was it? For animals, animal shelter type place. He had like this store where they'd people bring in stuff. So at there I found Tunes of Glory for like 50 cents, and it was actually a really good one. This is an early Criterion, of course. You can see. You can always tell in the early Criterions they don't have the big Criterion C on them like they would have later on. Alec Guinness and Sir Alec Guinness, Sir John Mills star in this one here. It's a fantastic little film. A little bit depressing, no morose, but I like it. This one I grabbed on eBay. Looney Baba, one that I wish Criterion would actually do a Blu-ray of, and like kind of remaster it. This is not the best picture print for the film. It's okay. It means there's nothing wrong with it, but for Criterion standards, it doesn't like stand up to some of the other stuff. There's like a UK release of this that actually has a better picture print. But overall, I do love the film. I think it's a great one. There's some great Super 8 black and white footage on here that's pretty awesome. And it is a really cool film. I find the mask kind of creepy. It's kind of haunting, and there's kind of latent sexuality to it that I really like. Okay. Oh, here's the last Criterion I actually got. It's the out of print Henry George Clouseau's Le Corbeau, The Raven. And my better half found this one in this like Montreal shop, which is amazing. And And she couldn't believe it. She looked and she saw this, like, she said, you know, I've found some movies, and one of the ones I found is like out of print Criterion. I was like, what's the price? And she told me, and I said, snap it up right now. So I like Clouseau, so I had to have this one. I haven't watched it yet. I gotta really watch this one. I'm a really big fan. Gotta get Wages of Fear down the road. That looks to be an amazing film. I love the Wages of Fear, and to get like the Schreider film, Sorcerers, and like just watch them back to back. That'd be a long watch, wouldn't it? Eyes Without a Face, just a fantastic little film. This one kind of ends, but it's haunting, and it's really well done. It's so well shot. It's just an amazing one there. Not a lot of features on it, but things that are on there are pretty decent. I didn't watch the Blood of the Beast, the 1949 short documentary on the slaughterhouses of Paris. I kind of skipped that. I let that pass me by. But I did watch the movie, and I did watch the other features on there and did enjoy them. Another one that I found at Value Village for about $1.99 was Kicking and Screaming by Noah Baumbach. And you know what? I really haven't watched this one yet. I do remember seeing this one earlier and thinking it was like a very funny film. So it'd be interesting, like, to actually look into this and actually check this one out. Next up, this is one I'm so proud of. This is one of the best looking Criterions ever. It's Monsters and Madmen. I waited so long to get this one here. This, I think, during the last sale, this was the only thing I bought was Monsters and Madmen. We didn't have a lot of money at the time, so we had to choose wisely. I think it was during Criterion's flash sale, and so I got this one. It's got Atomic Submarine. Look at these covers, man. First Man into Space, Corridors of Blood, and The Haunted Strangler. I think these are amazing covers. This is a gorgeous box set. Not a lot of features on it, but it does not matter. I don't know if there's any features on this one. Basically, a little bit like some commentaries and stuff like that. But it is a great box set. If you like horror, you got to get this. Haunted Strangler is one of Karloff's best films. It really does deserve to be looked at. And here's one that I did not think I was going to get into as much as I did, but I watched this film with my better half, and I think I watched it twice afterwards on my own. And you know, just because it's in a different language, I know some people don't want to watch certain films, but this is one you really, this type especially, you really should. And this one has Lino Ventura, who was like kind of like the Humphrey Bogart of France, and John Paul Belmondo is kind of like the sex symbol, more of a, I guess maybe I'm not saying Cary Grant, but like that type of thing. He's that type of actor, and that's called Class to Risk. And it's a really great film. It's based on a kind of like loosely based on a true story, something that really happened, and I just love it. I completely thought the character of Abel was amazing. Lino Ventura is like, he's this tough, rugged-looking guy. He looks like a bruiser. He really does. He looks like he's been beaten up and has beaten up other people like once or twice too many, and he's been around the block. And he's just such a likable character. Even though all the stuff that he's gone through and all the harshness in his life, it's extremely likable. This is a really good movie. If you like this type of film, if you're going to get a Criterion, you want to get something that's really cool. If it's still available, check this one out. Class to Risk. Trust me on that one. And how do you pronounce this? I'm not even going to lie.
Le deuxième souffle.
So, the deuxième souffle.
Yeah, second breath.
The second breath? Again, Jean-Pierre Melville, and I love Melville. There's actually, one of the ones I was really looking at was this Melville film. Except the film itself didn't seem as interesting as the features, actually. Silence de la Mer was one of the other ones there. On the new one. But this one here is a great one. Again, Lino Ventura is in this one as well, and definitely. You see Lino Ventura's name in there. It's really, you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be something you're going to want to check out. A more recent one that I picked up, and I picked this up on the flea market, and it's the 2-disc edition of Bottle Rocket. I think this is Wes Anderson's first film, and he did this with the, of course, with the brothers, the Wilson brothers. This actually was a short film first. I know it was like a short, and he made it into a feature-length film. Pretty cool stuff. The Wilsons and all. The Wilson brothers seem to be like perfectly fit for Wes Anderson's type of films. He has certain people that he acts in. Wes Anderson films kind of reminds me of like John Irving novels in a certain way. I'm not sure if that's going to make, you know, if you read John Irving, you might kind of get what I mean. Well, you know, with stuff like The World According to Garp, Hotel New Hampshire, it's got kind of like this quirky uniqueness with the characters. And I think that Wes Anderson gets that too. And I think that maybe he grew up reading a lot of John Irving and stuff like that because his stuff has to feel to it. And every once in a while, we like to pick up like something experimental, especially when we can pick up a few at a time. And this time, one time we picked up this one here, Science is Fiction, 23 films by Jean Penleve, and it's like a 3 set. It's fun. It's really cheesy, and his science is suspect at times the best, but it's a really fun film, and I'm glad I got this in my collection. I bought this one for $5 at Walmart in the at the $5 bin. I'm not a fan of the film. Not really not. I mean, a lot of people love this movie. I'm not sure why exactly it was a Criterion film, but there's the techno aspect maybe. Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Kate Blanchett, Brad Pitt. I really didn't enjoy it that much. I didn't think it didn't do anything for me. It was well done, but it just wasn't my type of film. House, I did enjoy. This was my type of film. This is batshit crazy. This is a Japanese film where a guy was given money right after the movie Jaws was done to make a horror film, like kind of in the vein of Jaws. This is not in the vein of Jaws. This is insane. This movie is utterly insane. There's a cat. There's a piano that eats people. There's characters like that have their own colors. It's just really, really awesome. It's like, and these do it. An episode of Scooby-Doo directed by Mario Bava. Exactly what this is. Chaplin. I do have to get more silent films, especially like stuff like Chaplin. I love Modern Times. Fantastic film. This is the first Chaplin one I picked up because I do have a lot of Chaplin in my collection. I do want to get them all redone with Criterion though, and this is just such an amazing one. I love this film. The Killing by Stanley Kubrick. I'm a huge Kubrick fan. This one is awesome. This has some amazing stuff on it. It also has a second film, Killer's Kiss, which is another one that it's another fun film as well, so I had to grab that. And if you love French New Wave cinema, then you have to see the godfather of all French New Wave, where it all started, where it all came from. That is the complete Jean Vigo. He died at a very young age. Really great stuff. If you love the movie If, then you have the Zero de Conduite, which very much inspired the movie If with Malcolm McDowell. Just has some great stuff on here. This is his entire collection. His short films and his like feature-length films as well. Definitely check it out. Just a few more and we'll be done. Then we go and do our list. We're going to do our dueling list of the Criterions and see what we like. This is her favorite time for shopping for movies. She's a huge fan of Criterion. Has a lot of the more of the stuff that she likes. So when I'm going to my Scream Factory, she's like, yeah, whatever, and I'm like my Arrow stuff. She's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But Criterion stuff, then we're both making lists. Godzilla. And because I always have to do this every time I take this one out, if you wonder if you should get Godzilla and you're not sure, you only have to do this to show somebody, and they've got to pick up Godzilla. Yeah, that's cool. I know, it's really cool. So if you don't have Godzilla, definitely pick it up. Great version of it, great copy. Rosemary's Babies was an early one I picked up because I really love the movie Rosemary's Baby. I know Polanski has a lot of like notoriety behind something that, definitely was not right what Polanski did, or I wouldn't go beyond that. But Polanski is a fantastic director. I'm not going to lie there. And Lord knows if I can watch Jeepers Creepers with Victor Salva directing, I can definitely watch Polanski's work. Polanski is a favorite of many. I think my sister-in-law was Matt. I think it was Martin Scorsese. I think, and his favorite director is actually Roman Polanski. Yeah, she asked, and that's what he said. His favorite director is Polanski. So Scorsese, I trust. Purple Noon, a great film by Rene Clement. This is for me, it's the definitive Mr. Ripley film. It stars Alain Delon, who is perfect for the role. He's like, a young, good-looking, charming guy there. And I love the work of Patricia Highsmith. Of course, Hitchcock wanted this film. He wanted to make Talented Mr. Ripley. He didn't get to do that, so he grabbed up her next book, which was Strangers on a Train, and that is one of Hitchcock's most accomplished films. Triple Noon should be in your collection. It's a great one. Another cool one, I like Fritz Lang. I like his direction, I like the style, the way that he does shadows, the angular look of a lot of his films. And direct by Fritz Lang, Ministry of Fear. Pretty much no features on this one at all, but just 87-minute, like, fantastic film. It was like a lower priced Criterion. Ray Milland stars in it, and it's a cool little thriller. The other Charlie Chaplin one I got, Charles Chaplin, is not the normal Chaplin type of film. It's Monsieur Vadot. And it's more political film. Very cool, very well done. It's really an anti-war. He takes a real strong stance on there and uses the character. Gate of Hell. And I honestly don't think I've seen this one yet. I've had this one for a while. I've got a lot of movies that I haven't seen, unfortunately. Looks like a very interesting film, and the storyline really was something that I was really interested in. So I've yet to watch Gate of Hell, but it's a really cool looking cover, and I like the style of film. I remember when we were looking at it, I like the story to it. I'm like, yeah, that's the story I'm going to want to sit down and watch, and it is something I got to pick up. Yeah. If you like comedy, and you like silent comedy, French comedy, the Pierrot collection, The Suitor, Yo-Yo, As Long As You've Got Your Health, was it Rupture, Happy Anniversary, Le Grand Amour, and Was It Feeling Good, and Land of Milk and Honey. Just really funny stuff. Seriously, if you like Jacques Tati, you like Jerry Lewis, you like all that type of stuff, definitely check this out. So if you got the Jacques Tati, if you picked up the Jacques Tati set recently, or you picked up last time around, or picked it up this time around, you want something good to go with it, something that's going to complement it really well, this will complement it really well. You will thank me for this one. This is a really good set. I have watched a few of those. One of my favorites, I think this may be my all-time favorite that I got in Criterion-wise, is Safety Last with Harold Lloyd. I'm a huge Harold Lloyd fan. This has an actual full documentary on his entire career too as well. Safety Last was what I consider the absolute perfect silent comedy. Everything fits in right, and nothing is seems to be shoehorned in. There's obviously there's some huge gags in here, but everything builds. It's like a perfectly made musical song that builds to like an orchestra, like an opera that builds to a certain crescendo, and does it in just perfectly timed. It's just an amazing film. If you haven't seen Safety Last, you really owe it to get this in your Criterion collection. It is incredible. Devil's Backbone is a fantastic Del Toro film. If you're a Del Toro fan, if you're like a horror fan, Devil's Backbone is probably going to be the type that you're going to want to be grabbing if you haven't picked it up. It's number 666 in the Criterion collection. Yeah, it really is. They planned this one very well. It's a great film. If you're not into horror, you're probably, and maybe Devil's Backbone won't be for you, but as for me, I thought it was a really cool film. Frankenheimer Saw. One is a director that I like, and Seconds is a movie that I think is highly underrated. Seconds, of course, stars Rock Hudson as basically there's this older guy who basically gets his youth back by becoming into the body of Rock Hudson. But then he gets really curious about finding out more about it, and he really shouldn't. Seconds is a fantastic film. It's a dark film. It's really well shot. It's black and white. It's just black and white, I think, yeah. And so well done. I mean, even in 1966, he chose to shoot in black and white, and it works. It really works. It does. And comedy-wise, next to one of the greatest things I've got with Criterion, and I say it's a couple this is the greatest, but then I keep finding something else. But this is one I really did enjoy. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it the way I did. I picked it up as a cheaper one, as kind of like to fill out an order because the story sounded okay, and I wanted to see the featurettes around it, but it was so good. And that's To Be or Not to Be, Jack Benny and Carole Lombard. This is freaking hilarious. This is hilarious. This is incredible. This is amazing. You should have this. This movie, the cover is amazing as well, but the movie is so good, so very good. To Be or Not to Be is, I know this was remade later, but couldn't touch it. Ernest Lubitsch is such a fantastic director. This is a great one here. I bought this originally for the documentary on Lubitsch's career. That's why I bought this one here. We sat down one night, we watched the movie, we were both blown away. It was so fantastic. It was funny. It was darker. It was just did some really great stuff. And Jack Benny was a genius in this film, the way they portrayed the character. Everybody, this Carole Lombard was amazing in this here, and unfortunately she passed away shortly after this movie was done. But again, I think this was her last film, to be honest with you. Yeah, it was her last film. So this was her final on-screen appearance, and she was a beautiful, beautiful woman. And it definitely shows in this movie. It's a fun film, a funny film. Definitely check it out. A lot of really great stuff in this one here. And again, 2 more of those radio shows, which you got to see. We used to listen to the Jack Benny one too. He had like a funny type of show. There's one when we listened to. It's totally off topic, but I want to get this one. Jack Benny's friend was a famous actor. I couldn't remember who it was. But he came over because he was in town and he really had to sleep because he hadn't slept in like 2 or 3 days, and so he stays at Jack Benny's place with. Was it Jack Benny or was it Gracie Allen and? Oh man, I can't remember now. Was it George Burns, Gracie Allen? I know that it was a fantastic one. Basically, the guy kept trying to go to sleep, and they kept waking him up, and it was hilarious. Anyway, that was totally off topic, but I just thought about it. Thanks for watching, guys. This is my different thing. So a coffee chat with a professor, I guess. So that's what they tend to call me on here. Thanks for watching, guys. For me right now, I normally say it's time for tea. I'm going to say that anyway, because after I drink this, I'm going to feel a little guilty. I'm going to need caffeine. This is the caffeinated. So then it will be, as we're going through our criterions and deciding which criterions to get, it's that time of year again, guys. It is time for criterion hunting. You got to do it. Get yourself at least one. Go something that, and challenge yourself to get something maybe a little bit outside your comfort zone. See something like different. Let yourself find something else. Let yourself explore a new director, a new genre, a new format, a new style of film that maybe you really haven't like looked into and you've been curious about. This is the time to do it. Criterions are normally really expensive, and still they're going to be costing anywhere between $9 to $19, and it's not bad for Criterion. They really put a lot of work into these films. They are the marquee title for a reason. We got Arrow, Scream, and Criterion in my house. Those are the 3 big ones that we go for, and those are ones we collect more than anything else. So again, guys, thanks for watching. For me right now, it's I guess after I drink this coffee, it'll be time for tea. So say hello to the great Pin Lord in the sky, his buddy the Phantom, his friend the creature from the Black Lagoon, my better amazing half over there, who looks so incredibly gorgeous tonight. And for me right now, I'm going to go look at shop at some Criterions, or at least kind of dream shop what I would like to have. So I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm out of here. Have a good night.